So hello everybody, it's Chairidee Smith, Miss Mogul. Wanted to say a warm hello to all of you who are watching in the Lioness Den. You all, I'm excited. We are in our next week, our follow-up week to all of the trainings from last week. Today I want to talk to you about BYOB. Be your own bank, creating opportunities for real estate funding using business credit and some creative strategies. But before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe to our Mogul Talk channel on YouTube, as well as go to youcancreateyourown.economy.com and subscribe there. Now, before I get into our strategy for today with BYOB, creating business and funding opportunities, I want to read to you something very quickly from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. Again, that's one of the Bibles I read from T. Harv Eckert. Here is what he says. He says, you can choose to think in ways that support you in your business and success instead of ways that don't. You can choose. He goes on to say, if you want to create wealth, it is imperative that you believe that you are in the steering wheel of your life, especially your financial life. If you don't believe this, then you must inherently believe that you have little or no control over your life, and therefore you have little or no control over your financial success. This is not a rich attitude. So, you all, again, so much of the results of wealth have to do with what you think about it, how you feel about it. And we'll do some diving into that as well. But want to hurry up and get to our strategy for today. So, as I always tell you, get your laptop and your latte. Let's write down a couple of things right quick about BYOB, be your own bank in creating funding strategies for real estate. I want to talk today about business credit. Now, I was a little late to this game, and some of you may know all about it already, but for those of you who don't, this is a good opportunity for you to chime in. Business credit is a wonderful way for you to establish funding opportunities outside of your personal credit. So for those of you who are saying that my challenge to real estate investing is, one, I don't have the credit, or two, I don't have the down payment, or maybe I just went through a divorce and everything is kind of still up in the air and I don't know where to start with that. These are some opportunities and strategies for you to now remove those obstacles, remove those excuses, and dive into creating your own economy with real estate. So first of all, the first way to prepare yourself to buy real estate with business credit is get an LLC, get a business structure. Now, you may think, oh, that's easy. Of course. But no, get a solid business structure. I do not recommend that you get, and by the way, I am not an attorney. I am not an accountant. I'm just a very successful, seasoned real estate investor. Okay. So put that out there. But I strongly recommend you get a business entity that can scale in business with you. A DBA just is not sufficient to do that. I would recommend that you get an LLC. You can get a nonprofit. There are some really strategic things you can do with nonprofits. You can get an S Corp. You can get a C Corp. Traditionally, we typically use the LLC because an LLC really does hide you to a degree from liability, and it helps you to maintain some privacy in business, meaning that the business is doing the identity of your transaction is held in the business and not necessarily your personal identity, if you follow me on that. So you need to do that. Get a business structure, then get an EIN number. You get this from the state, EIN number, okay? You can apply anywhere in your state to get that. Just go online, type in EIN number, apply right there online. You go through the application, you pay a minimal fee, and you get your EIN number assigned to your business identity. Then you need to get a professional site, a professional phone number, and a business address, not necessarily a P.O. box. Now, I have a P.O. box, but I also have a virtual office address that I tend to use for some things because I just don't want for women, this is particularly for you. You want to be careful putting your address out there, putting all your whereabouts out there. There are a lot of things that can happen from a security standpoint, that I recommend that you do your due diligence and your best to protect yourself when meeting with clients and putting your identity out there. That's why I recommend you use a virtual office address. And it's very professional. It's standard practice in the industry. And it also provides you a level of security while you're doing business. So put that out there. Then step two, you need to then go and apply for trade lines, okay? Get some business credit in your business name. Now, here is where I've opened up accounts and where I recommend you do as well. Uline, 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 Quill, just like the old school pen, Quill, and Granger. Those are three entities where you can go and set up business accounts for as little as $30, $50, $100, just depends upon which one, what they're asking for, but it's a minimal cost. That's the point I'm driving home. Once you do that, they will either then assign you a 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day account. And then you just start to buy these products and services from your different vendors. Now, I recommend you buy from vendors that you're going to use. I would not, if you're not in a commercial cleaning business, you don't necessarily need to go get a toilet paper account. So use these accounts to build then your business, right? So if you need paper, if you need software, if you need coffee, right? Whatever you need, order it from these vendors and start to build a credit history in the business name that will help then support you in your funding process coming down the road. Third step you need to do, again, a no-brainer, is get a business account. Now, why a business account? Because as you're doing business, you do not want all of this stuff in your name. I want to speak primarily, again, not an attorney, but want to say this. For partnerships, for marriages, etc., particularly those in community property states, you want to be aware of where you're doing business and how you're doing business, because unfortunately, if you dissolve a partnership or even a marriage, the partner or the ex-spouse could have access to your assets, right? So you want to set up your business properly. Talk to an attorney to do that. But make sure that you're doing everything in the business name and putting the putting the proceeds, etc., in the business accounts and keeping that separate from your personal assets, your personal income. Keep it separate, okay? I can't stress that enough. Once you do that, then you're in a position now for Duns and Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business to start reporting to their credit bureaus about your credit history. Now, here is the blessing for those of you who are saying, hey, credit is a challenge for me. While you do need to have start working on that, right? Get that together. Business credit is reported to a different reporting agency. It's the Dun and Bradstreet, it's the Experian Business, it's the Equifax Business. It is not the FICO scores, okay? Now, we know that a great personal FICO score is probably like 750 and up right now, okay? A great business credit score is about 80 to 100. So that's what you're aiming towards. That's why you want to get those vendors and start paying on time with your 30, 60, or 90-day accounts, building up some transactions so they can see that you really are in business to make money and you really are doing transactions. And if you have not earned anything as far as proceeds yet, maybe you have some deals that are tied up and you haven't had a chance to get your commission or your payout, just start depositing frequently into that business account just to show that transactions are happening and it truly is a live active account that you're planning to do business in. Okay. Now, how do you become your own bank? Getting business credit, again, removes a lot of the obstacles that folks traditionally face when getting into real estate using personal credit. You don't have to have an explanation, and I put that in quotes. You don't have to have an explanation about losses, unemployment, um, divorce. That stuff isn't in play. What they're looking at is the business structure, the business accounts, and what you're doing with business. Real estate is one of those industries where people are very likely, lenders are very likely to take risks in real estate because they have hard assets, right? So if anything ever happens and you have to default, God forbid, you still have the hard asset there that the lender can then attach themselves to, sell it, rehab it, do whatever they're going to do, and recoup some of their loss. So they are apt to work with you in real estate. Another way you can become your own bank with business credit is that you get to approve you. Now, what do I mean by that? Your transactions approve you. In those 30, 60, 90-day accounts, you're working on your approval process there. Having your virtual office space, making sure that your structures are in line. You are positioned to approve yourself. So now when you go to a hard money lender, or if you go to a private equity lender, or if all the lending is just in the asset, however you decide to structure that, what's approving you is your business credit, not your personal credit. Totally different. Here is now how you start to create your economy doing that. You all, don't you know, and for those of you who may not know this, you can actually buy your first property, your first real estate transaction, your first residential property using um, business credit as a first-time home buyer. I can explain that in another video. But that's an opportunity, you all, that you need to tap into. So you may say, I don't have the credit worthiness now in my personal credit, but you can go and establish business credit. And if you're a first-time home buyer, you can buy a property using business credit to do that. Now, what I personally recommend in creating your own economy is that once you are credit worthy, you have your funding together, you know what your exit strategy is going to be, etc. I highly recommend that you go and get a multi-family property. Now, the same process is basically going to apply if you purchase a single family property. But think about this. If you go through the same process as you would getting a single family property, and instead you get a multifamily property, I'm talking duplexes, quads, fives, sixes, on up to about eights. Once you get to about eight, you're moving into a different place. But if you go and buy a multifamily property using that same process, lease out all of the other units, you now create a situation where you could potentially be living for free in a multifamily situation. Okay? You guys follow me there? Please put your comments or your questions below if you have questions about that. It makes sense that if you're going to go through the process, in my opinion, buy more doors with that one transaction. You understand what I mean when I say buy more doors? Get a multifamily property. Huge tax benefits, cash flow benefits, write-offs. And again, there is that security that the units around you are now covering the overall. If you had to mortgage the property, those units can now pay the cost of that mortgage while you potentially live in one of those units free. So consider that, you all. Here is what I want to end this with today. I'm sure you have questions. Please put them in the comments below. But there are opportunities out here with the right strategy and the right information for you to be your own bank and create your own economy. You just need to know how to do that. So make sure you connect with Roar Women's Network. By the way, I want to send a shout out to all of you who are in Roar Global, Roar Ghana, Roar Latin America, Roar USA. So glad that we are launched again and we're back together. Go to youcancreateyourown.economy.com. If you don't know about the organization, click on Global Initiatives, become a member. We will be launching an open membership very soon. And I highly Wow. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I am a mom and my daughter was calling. Anyway, yeah, make sure that you connect with the organization, connect with youcancreateyourown economy.com. Make sure you subscribe to Mogul Life TV on YouTube and stay tuned for more strategies coming up. Bye bye for now.